And just like that, we are back with Chapter 81 of the Universe According to Mugsy. Today is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. I am Mugsy the Creator, the interdimensional, time-traveling, philosophizing podcaster that is here to explain the current events to you. Just to explain how they're a product of the culture, and that your only contribution to that culture is your own individual consciousness, and that's the perspective that you go out into the wild, overlaying onto this three-dimensional reality that you see before you. If you're not paying attention to your own emotions, that are the information that are trying to relay this to you. I'm not the only one that's been doing this. What do you think religion's been for the past couple 100,000 years? That's exactly what people are doing. They're trying to figure out how the information is coming in. Because my friend Justin Trudell, he is correct. What I am doing is I am talking stream of consciousness. How is that possible? Because I don't know the next word that's going to be able to come out of my mouth. Because I'm channeling the information from the ether, from everything that surrounds me, the Akashic record. How do you think all of the technology that you're using right now in that room, that broadcast studio, or you listen to it on some goddamn headphones, how do you think this stuff reaches through the air? It's got to travel through some medium. So what I am doing is I am channeling that energy. Because ultimately, guys, what I didn't like is the current events that I saw playing out before me, because I'm one of the biggest failures in the history of the world. It's pretty crazy. I've failed so many times. I've been fired from so many goddamn jobs. I've been kicked out of apartments. I've been dumped. I've been cheated on. All the things that could happen, they all happened to me. And I stood in front of that train and I took it like a man every single time. And I killed myself. And I killed myself because I had to do that. I had to kill all of the patterns that were producing the current events that I didn't like seeing before my eyes, so that I could open myself up to the new patterns and the new potentials and step into that new reality by coming back to life. And that's exactly what we're doing here. I can't believe they couldn't see on the producer search right away what they had was something truly unique, something individual, unlike any of the Minifans that they had interacted with before, because I'm different, and I am one of the Minifans. I'm sorry that I can't rattle off 72 of you numbnuts' names by, John from Scranton, who goes by a different name on Twitter, and when he shows up on the screen, it's something else. I can't keep all of you straight, because what I'm trying to do is understand all of the information that's coming through for me right now. That's why this broadcast is so hard to do, so separated from all the other human beings that are so afraid to interact with me, because of the potential of what could happen. What could happen when you're talking to someone like this? What could happen? That's the reality of it. But all that I really care about is my friend Kirk and his show. I want to make sure that he doesn't feel like he does not have capable individuals that follow his ongoings. Now, what? I think my friend Bob Menners, I have a confession to make. I'm a Menners guy. I am a Bob fan. I don't understand why he would go behind my back and tell Kirk not to pay attention to me when it's so clear and there is such a need. How do you notice things in this reality? I notice lack. That's what I've been able to do. I notice lack within myself. So I went out and I became the thing that I needed to be. When I see that program, I notice lack. There's a lack of a third chair who's able to add any energy, panache, or fucking anything different to the show. What is the show? What is the essence of the Kirk Minihane show? He is a crazy person walking around the world, convince all you people he's a success. Because he is truly a man. He is a one. He's going to make you pay attention to him, and he's going to punch you in the goddamn face until you pay attention. All right? He is what Dave Portnoy used to be, which is how Kirk Minihane is able to provide the check on Barstoolsports that he does, making sure they stay just a little bit somewhat grounded as they are on their slow descent back down to this reality that they took off from way back in 2003 or 2004 when I started paying attention to this bullshit, okay? So this ain't my first rodeo. That's why I love people like Dave Portnoy. That's why I love people like Kirk Minihane. They've taught me so many lessons about how this game works. All right, I will be happy to come into the studio and help you produce a podcast if you truly need a producer. But I'm not auditioning for no job, all right? I don't want to be paid by any of you guys. I want to create good content. My definition of good content and your definition of good content can't be too far fucking apart, because I talk about you morons way more than I intend to, because I need some human beings to interact with, and I will go as low as I have to. until I'm able to convince people that they are able to raise their vibration and step into a goddamn new reality that exists when you're able to understand that we live in the third dimension and the fourth dimension is awareness. And that is the bridge that ties us into the fifth dimension, which is coming into Earth right now because of the astrological position of the stars and this planet that we exist on. I don't know how I know these things. I don't understand why this moment is so critical in time. I don't get it. Is it because of what happened in 2012 and in the end of the timelines, the CERN Hadron Collider, when they spun those particles together real fast on July 4th, 2012? And they started producing this new dark matter, these new chemicals, compounds that the universe doesn't create very easily. Metamaterials that now people are playing with, doing magic, some of it dark magic, some of it light magic, all around this earth. That's what leads people like me to become such a goddamn failure. I've been, fired from every job, kicked out of most apartments. Most people have dumped me until I met my wife, all right? I am a crazy Minifan experiment, and I figured it out. I figured out how to dance that path, all right? And find true fucking happiness, and money's got nothing to do with it, and attention's got nothing to do with it. That fulfillment, it comes from your heart, all right? Justin Trudell, how do I see these other dimensions, my friend? Because it's not my first time having the experience. Even if I have not been able to have the experience through other people, you can convince yourself something is happening, and you can understand what a timeline would look like. For someone like you who's a producer, now I have some idea of what the money you make is, and how are you supposed to come up with a life for yourself. Do you know how much it costs for a house? Where do you think you're going to go with this? I don't know, third chair, Dave Cullinan, executive producer, bullshit. Where's this resume going to take you? The entire country's burning down, motherfucker. They're paying migrants $30,000 a year to take houses from you, all right? You are blown away by the fact that you're getting your dick wet once in a while, and it completely changed the way that you see reality. You couldn't imagine another reality, and you're willing to burn this job to the ground, all right? There's nothing else out there. You guys need to understand this for sure. Because gratitude is what will get you through. It will tie your heart to your mind in a heart-mind coherence. It will allow you to access the wisdom, the intuition that is there for you, only for you, that is there to teach you the lessons that you came to this universe to experience. All right, buddy? That's what I'm trying to say. So I am able to understand exactly how you're looking at me. Puzzled? Huh? Those factor meals don't do enough to keep the electricity in your brain moving so that those cells can rub together and we can actually have some thoughts or channel some thoughts. How exactly does information travel those Wi-Fi networks that we sit in the middle of all day long? Did you know that they can map your house? They can see exactly where everyone's standing at all times. That's what the lead-based paint was for way back in the day. How come they knew to do that way back in the early 1900s and we can't figure that shit out now? It's because the society that we exist in is always rising and falling. It's always rising and falling. It is pretty wild. I don't even know where I'm going to go. I don't even know where I'm about to go. But right now, I do not want to sell you any deodorant for your balls or anything else, really, at this moment. What I would like for you to do is go to MugsyTheCreator.com. You can find my Patreon link, which enables me to do this all for free, living off $12,000 a year in my paradise. But you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and a whole host of other places. Let's see where I'm going to go with this one. How's he going to land that plane? Back to the episode. And I'm looking for the most interesting person in the room to have a conversation with, and I was returned to my friend Kirk Minihane when he started solving murders. All right, he stopped talking about politics, hopefully because he realized that all politics is theater, but that motherfucker, as a man, went out into the world and he solved some fucking murder cases, all right? And that shit's hard to do. Because I live in neighborhoods that people have been murdered in. And unless Kirk committed those crimes himself, I am going to be very impressed with the fact that he was able to solve them. Because most human beings don't know what it's like to truly become something and make something of themselves like Kirk did. That's why everyone follows him around like it's so fucking impressive. All he did was get you to fucking look at him until he did something like that. All right? Until he went out into the world and he said, there's a genre that I think is very popular. I think I'm going to go out and tackle it because I think enough of these morons, which I've been able to pick up on from my 50-something years living in this fucking reality, distracting people with sports conversation that I don't even really give a fuck about because I am just going to become the biggest star in the room by pressing the energetic buttons on whoever I have to press to get a reaction out of them because I realize there's something more going on here and this sports shit's just a distraction. It doesn't mean he can't talk about it, right? He did for many years on EEI, but something changed when Kirk went from EEI to radio.com to Barstoolsports and produced the Kirk Minihane show. Something changed because he is too realizing that this society is falling apart. All of the Fortune 500 companies, which we used to think were so lofty and so powerful, they're all crumbling, right? And these technologists who have somewhat taken over the entire business structure in the United States, 5, 6 companies, whatever you want to call it, I don't even know how to tie this back and ground us again. All right? There's nothing out there, motherfuckers. I made $12,000 last year, and I'm the happiest motherfucker on earth. I don't know why you wouldn't want to talk to me. All of you crazy people in the miniverse, I don't know why you guys aren't paying attention to me. I don't know why Kirk's afraid to listen. He's listening to Bob Menner's opinion on me. I'm a Bob guy. But still, you can't listen to that numbnuts. He is comfortable sitting inside of the structure, the pyramid structure that Kirk Minihane built at the Kirk Minihane show, right? Use all of your time and energy to try and produce something that Kirk can any day come in and say, oh, that's good, that's bad. And at the end of the day, all of these people have built up this producer role to think that it's something that it's really not. You can learn how to do any of these things, all right? Menners, let's come back to the questions, all right? DaVinci Resolve is cinematic software that I decided as a banker that I was going to start with that. So if you think I can't downscale my production capabilities to be able to turn on a fucking live show for you and line up these cameras, I do this shit outside. My audio engineering show, my video engineering skills, these all came in the last year. Take a look at my podcast. You'll see how it evolved from chapter fucking 1 to chapter 81 now, all right? And you'll continue to see that there's some sort of patterns that go on in life. And what you're doing is you're choosing the safe route. Here's some numbnuts, Kirk Minihane, who appears to be successful. I better hang around with him for as long as I can, and maybe his success will rub off on me. When you should be paying attention to what success is for you, because that's different for all of us, okay? No one else's success is ever going to make you happy. And if you're waiting on Kirk Minihane's approval to make you something, you got another thing coming. All right? I am looking for human beings to be interesting and help us rebuild this community, this society. I don't care where we start. If you want to start on the North Shore of Boston, Kirk, I'm down with that. If you want to start on the South Shore, let's do it. I don't give a shit. You can start in your kitchen in Wyoming. We got people in Europe that pick up this broadcast. There is just so much potential. And you're able to see that when you're able to slow things down. Eat healthy, breathe, and laugh at yourself because you have to understand that you know nothing, all right? If the news is fake, what do you think history is, numbnuts? What are the only things that are the through lines? They are the stories. They are the things that you keep seeing over and over again. How come this is a recurring theme? This is a recurring theme over and over again in my head. How come we keep getting to this spot? And if that spot is not a place you want to be, my friends, then you need to pay attention to your own consciousness and take it back from the systems that have thrust their vision, their perspective of this reality on you. How did they do that? Well, they used to do it with newspapers and magazines, and we could all sit here and go, ha, 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 that's so funny. Yeah, those people were so stupid. Well, how did they do it today, numbnuts? Do they do it on YouTube? Do they do it with the algorithm? Are they a little more subtle with it? Are they creating you to be a little more like them every time they present something in front of your eyeballs? What about commercials? They are just hammering it home, brute force attack style. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. What are you supposed to do when you go out to a restaurant and they're like, do you want a Coke? Yeah. Because you've heard it so many goddamn times in your mind. All of this is just data and it's information that is now being used against you. Because what's been going on for the last 20 years is we gathered all of this data. What do you think those corporations are doing with it? They're using it to subvert your own individual decision-making skills so that you won't notice that shit's getting a lot worse because it's changed a little bit. All right, it's changed just a little bit. It's the iPhone 17. It's got 3 cameras. We're now using the new Apple. You people are trying not to think. That's why we're at a dividing point. That's why we're all going to take different paths moving forward. And if you numbnuts Minifans don't want to come along for the ride at all with me, then it sucks. It sucks. What do you want me to say? I'm going to be a little bit upset over it. I am. It's hard. I'm just dumped one more time, one more failure in my life. Oh no, you learn more from a failure than a fucking success. Right? We're all victims of our own success. So thank the universe that I have never been successful, which is why I can sit here alone in this park. Who gives a shit if people are walking by while I'm in the middle of my monologue, my broadcast, this podcast that I'm trying to use as some sort of vessel, some sort of ship to reach humanity. I know they're out there. I know they're out there. Oh. And I know there's other people doing it, which is why I have become such good friends with my buddy Joe. I haven't spent more time with anyone than with my best friend Joe. And a few days ago, we had a conversation with Dave Smith. And a lot of people get depressed by that conversation. Joe kept coming back to it because what Dave Smith is, I'm so appreciative of Dave for that, is he's a version of what I could have become. He was a potential for me before he stepped out onto the stage. And he absolutely demolished any war hawk who would get on a debate stage with him. Anyone who had just an underlying idea that COVID was anything other than a massive crime against humanity. He invited them onto a stage and he got rid of them, whether it was Chris Cuomo, who should be a disgraced CNN broadcaster who lied to the American public over and over again. I don't know why Patrick Bet Value keeps having him on his broadcast. Why do we have to keep giving this guy a second chance? Because of the family. See, this is why you need to pay attention to the subtleties, all right? Because Kurt Metzger calls Patrick Bet David Patrick Bet Value as a little diss to him because he understands exactly what's going on. And Patrick Bet David, if you pay attention to the words that come out of his mouth, says Chris Cuomo comes from a good family. What he's talking about are the bloodlines, all right? Because he knew that this family we're not going to get rid of, which is why his position was not to come down so hard on such powerful people as his brother is now running for the Republican side of mayor. They had to get a terrorist to run against him in New York City so that hopefully you'll vote for his brother again, who openly admitted to molesting women because he's Italian. This reality should be absolutely absurd to you. You should not want to participate in it. You should not pay attention to it. And you should try and follow some sort of heart-mind coherence towards the wisdom that is laid out for you. But if you're not going to do that, can you at least pay attention to someone a little more interesting than the drips we got walking around in this society? Because I am a weird brain. All right, I am a weird brain, and if that's not enough to pay attention to, I don't know what is anymore. I don't know what is going to happen to you guys out there. All right? I made $12,000, and I'm the happiest man on earth. Most people put a gun in their mouth, and they blow their fucking head off. And that's the reality of what's happening to men out there. They're killing themselves all over the place. There's nothing for them. There is no women that will have sex with them. There's no jobs for them. And women only want to have sex with men that have jobs. So they go to drugs, alcohol, tobacco, video games, distractions, Barstoolsports, gambling. Anything you can do to distract yourself from the reality of what's going on. All right? And it's not a happy road out there. Most of my friends are dead. I'm binary. One. The only one left, all right? That's it. I don't know why you're still sending your kids to those schools. I don't know why you're sending them to colleges or universities. All of the information is for free on the internet. You can figure out just about anything. And when you start going into their books or the internet or whatever it is, and you start figuring some shit out, you're going to realize, oh, wait a minute, these people that say they're engineers, they're not engineers of shit. These people that build software, those are actually weapons. And you're sitting right in the goddamn middle of it. It has been a pleasure to bring you this broadcast. I love that Dave and Joe are getting into this shit, all right? Because someone has to wake these people up, but it should be like, that's why we need the humor too. That's why this whole thing started with me pitching Saturday Night Live to Dave Portnoy, because his vessel, Barstoolsports, could have been salvaged to help America laugh at the reality that we exist in, because laughter is the best medicine. It allows us to see things how they actually are. And we're going to have to cry if we're not going to laugh at the reality of the things that we need to build, the structures that we once thought were in place that are nowhere near where we thought they were, so that we can have some semblance of a future. And that's just the baseline reality, because they're about to put your mind into a box, into a prison where it will be encased for all time. All time. That's what's going to happen. You're going to hop in the pod and you're going to eat the bugs. We talk about it. I don't know how much on this show. How many times have I already eaten the bugs and hopped in the pod without even knowing it myself? That's the reality. There is so much potential. Once we start to see things as they are, for us to build something anew, anything could be better than just the same bullshit over and over again. Because there's nothing out there. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Now, I guess we're just going to have to wrap it up here, because it's been a wild podcast. It's been a wild show today. There's so much more coming. I'm going to go talk to some garbage men, I think, and see if we can get the local news to pick that up or something. I'm just actually going to go enjoy my life, because it is a beautiful day. We only have so much time left. The grace with which the first leaf falls from the autumn trees is truly something that is unparalleled. And now why? That's my question to the audience this week. Why? Why is the first leaf in the autumn falling such a magical experience? All right? Let's see if you can understand context. Let's see if you can paint me a goddamn picture. Take back your consciousness, guys. I love you. I'm out. If you want to find out where else you can listen to this broadcast and you're a human, you can go to MugsyTheCreator.com. If you're a robot, I got nothing for you. I mean, unless you can subscribe over here, or you can click this playlist. If you're a robot, you can do that. That would definitely help. Like, subscribe, whatever you want. Thanks a lot, guys.